Hey, dismembers, it's Mindy. 20 years in crisis communication teaches you a few things, like how to fake calm in chaos, or how to survive on bad coffee and sarcasm. But none of that training prepares you for what happens when you start digging into the world of missing and unidentified. These aren't statistics, they're people. Someone's child, someone's friend, someone who vanished before their story was finished. And if we can shed a little light or crack a dark joke to make it bearable, that's exactly what we'll do. Because sometimes to face the darkness, you have to laugh right through it. It's let's get into it. And by get into it, I mean grab a shovel because we've got an expert for that.
Oh, yeah. Hey there, dismembers. I'm Dr. Nikki. I've worked in forensics, death investigation, and crime scene analysis for over 3 decades, which is really just a fancy way of saying I show up on the worst day of someone's life and when the story ends badly. I've dug lots of ditches, hiked through forests, sifted through garbage, crawled through cellars, and yes, stepped over an impressive mountain of porn, all to look for evidence or find out who someone was and how they ended up gone. Physical evidence and crime scenes were my bread and butter at the lab, but human skeletons, they'll always be my jam. And always be my piece of toast with jam. Come on. I've seen humanity at its worst and its best. The cruelty that ends a life and the relentless care of those who refuse to stop searching. Now, Mindy and I want to take you behind the scenes of that work, the strange, the sobering, and sometimes the absurd.
Today's dismembers, we have a fun treat for you.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. We are not just talking about the morgue. We're actually going there.
For real. For sure, Mindy, like legitimately meet me at the morgue kind of day.
Yeah, because once upon a pre and mid pandemic time, the Oregon State Medical Examiner's offices were gearing up for a huge annual training.
This wasn't just another annual training. It's the one time each year we bring together Oregon's newest and newly appointed death investigators to teach them the law, the science, and the art of the job. A death investigation can be really complicated, and this is the week that we teach all of the newest people exactly the ins and outs of what we do here in Oregon. It's an intensive week that takes a village of subject matter experts and covers more material than seems possible to fit into just 5 days, really. These newly minted death investigators even have to take an exam at the end of the week, and if they don't pass, they don't go back to their counties as death investigators. The heart of this training has always been the hands-on practical experience given inside the morgue to these trainees in the middle of the week. Class attendees learn how to draw blood samples from dead people and how to examine the body for external injuries and wounds.
So, this is an intensive week that these folks cannot miss if they want to perform these duties in their own county for their own county medical examiner. Then 2020 hit and said, surprise, you're all grounded. Flights canceled, hotels canceled, conferences canceled.
Yep. Trainings canceled. Stress doubled.
Exactly.
Seriously, how do you teach people you need to teach, especially on a hands-on subject like death investigation or body examination, without being in the actual room with them?
So, what didn't get canceled was the need for continuing education and accreditation. And that's where I came in.
That's right.
You can stop travel. You can order people to stay away from each other, but you can't stop science.
It moves like a freight train.
Like a freight train.
Exactly. But more specifically, this is where I called you up and said the fateful words, Mindy, meet me at the morgue.
Which might be the most on-brand thing you have ever said to me.
You're welcome.
So today, dismembers, we're talking about what happens when a pandemic shuts down a medical examiner training, the morgue becomes a film studio, and the new chief medical examiner meets me for the first time during an eyeball fluid draw.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's science, uncertainty, and a little bit of holy shit, did that just happen?
And you know it did.
Yeah.
So, dismembers, grab a snack, maybe skip the jello, and let's roll into Meet Me at the Morgue for real this time.
That's right. So here's the setup, dismembers. It's early 2020. The Oregon State Medical Examiner's Office is preparing for their annual conference training for the medical legal death investigators. It's a big deal. Presentations, demonstrations, continuing education hours, all of the things are happening.
It's the Emmys world version of prom, really. Only instead of corsages, you bring the best pictures of gunshot wounds, cancer tumors gone awry, and decomp cases.
That's right. And then boom, COVID hits. Travel is out. Gatherings are banned. Only essential employees are allowed in the office, of course, 6 feet away from each other. And everyone's trying to figure out how to teach, test, and certify from home or from their isolated offices.
But science doesn't pause for pandemics. People still need their certifications. And the state medical examiner's office is obligated to train these newbies so they can go forth and gather information for our state forensic pathologists. These death investigators are the first eyes and ears of pathologists who will eventually either see the body in the morgue when it's transported there or sign off on the case remotely after the death investigator tells them the details of the scene. Elderly fella found dead in bed with 17 pill bottles for heart disease on his nightstand? Not suspicious. So that's a case that would get signed off remotely. Naked girl behind a dumpster with lots of blood? A death investigator is going to relay the details of the scene to the doctor, and the doctor is going to most likely say, "Bring that gal in. I want to perform an autopsy." So you see how important a trained eye on death investigators is. And what you do when you can't physically go to the conference, you bring the conference to them.
Which, Mindy, is how I ended up calling you.
Yeah. Hey, Mindy, can you meet me at the morgue and fill a bunch of autopsy demos?
That's right. I don't know. Did I say it exactly like that? But yeah, that's pretty close. I think, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Pretty close. And me, being the slightly unhinged overachiever I am, said, "Sure, Nikki, I'll meet you at the morgue."
Yeah, you didn't even hesitate. And we did say, meet me at the morgue several times.
We did. And kind of maybe that's why we have a podcast named that.
For sure.
And again, it's not my first morgue. It just isn't. Also, if you can call me and say, "I need you at the morgue," I'm never going to say no.
Oh, well, that's friendship.
No, that's trauma bonding.
The same thing.
So I packed everything I could think of: tripods, lighting, microphones, battery gear, camera gear, snacks, always extra snacks with me, and a questionable amount of caffeine.
Yeah. I do remember this day. You showed up like a mobile film crew. It was awesome. We had already designated someone in our morgue cooler as your quote unquote talent, our client, I should say. So we were all ready to go with an actual decedent for you to film. We couldn't do this half-ass either because it just wouldn't be realistic. And there's definitely no one at the Emmys office that would have volunteered to lay down on one of our grody gurneys and pretend to be a dead body.
Right.
So we had to use a real dead guy.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And I did show up with the kitchen sink, honestly. I was nervous. Yeah. Again, not about the morgue. I knew that world. I was nervous about screwing up the video for the 100 investigators who needed it.
Okay, yeah, so no pressure at all.
None. Totally fine.
I didn't put that pressure on you.
No, you didn't. But
I were just
I put it on myself.
Just hoping it would turn out okay. But meanwhile, we have a brand new chief medical examiner that day, Dr. Sean Hurst. He's freshly appointed after another medical examiner and Dr. Karen Gunson had left. Dr. Hurst is quiet, he's stoic, and he's actually not very easy to read at all, but he's in charge at this point. And it was really, really easy to determine quickly, certainly by me and lots of other people, that he's got this huge brain on his neck.
Right?
That noggin is full of information, lots of great information, trivia tidbits also about obscure melanomas. And I would learn later in my career about Sean Hurst. There's a lot of bad dad puns in his
Oh,
head.
good dad joke. Come on.
He loves them. But yes, he replaced another chief medical examiner that had a quick stint as the boss after Karen Gunson proudly walked out of the office into retirement.
Dr. Gunson was incredible.
Loved her.
She really introduced me to the world of the medical examiners. And over the years, she taught me everything from autopsy basics to how to stay upright when things got intense. She also showed me that it was okay to use humor to cope with the hard stuff. And that lesson just stuck with me even to today.
Yep.
We bonded over her creative uses of everyday household items in the autopsy room. Knitting needles, bolt cutters, you name it. A truly remarkable woman.
Yeah.
We might have to talk about her later
For
in
sure.
another podcast.
Right, absolutely. She had a rubber vest that she would wear over her scrubs when she would perform autopsies, and it had this little lace trim.
Detail. I remember that. Absolutely. She was a lady.
It was really cute. She was classy. Super classy. True, you're right, Mindy. A truly remarkable woman for sure. She left big shoes to fill. And Dr. Hurst, being new, had not met you yet.
Nope, I don't think so. I think in his mind, I was just the lady who worked at headquarters, who run the social media.
Which, I mean, to be fair, is technically true.
Technically, but not the full story.
No, that's not your full suite of abilities.
Yeah. So when I rolled into the morgue that morning with enough gear to film CSI Oregon, which I still think is a great idea, I think he was a little kind of confused.
Yeah, we all had parkas on. CSI Oregon.
Right?
Super sexy. So Dr. Hurst gave me a look like, why is there a happy person here with a tripod? But I have to admit, we were all very excited you were there, Mindy, because one, we were desperate to figure out a solution to how do we train in death investigations remotely. Wasn't sure if it was possible. And two, it's Mindy. Everybody wants to be in a room with Mindy. So any excuse to get you up to my shop was absolutely valid, and I was going to take it.
Right. And yet, Dr. Hurst must have been kind of skeptical, honestly.
He's skeptical about everything.
Right. And I was way too cheerful for a morgue at 8 a.m. I'm an early bird. Most everybody else in this world is not as early bird as I am. So I'm a little perky in the morning.
It's one of Mindy's faults.
It is a fault most of the time. So Nikki meets me in the lobby.
It's a character flaw.
It is one of many. So Nikki meets me in the lobby, and we head back to the autopsy suite.
Yep.
Dismembers, this is a working morgue.
Doo-doo-doo.
The hum of the ventilation, cold air, stainless steel, disinfectant, and that distinct smell of, let's say, reality.
If there's any death investigators that are listening, do you know Fabuloso? That's what our morgue smells like.
Yeah.
It's a disinfectant. Yeah.
I love it.
I smelled it in a hotel once, and I was like, oh, fuck.
I hope it was just the cleaner of the day.
Yeah. So the morgue is not gross to me or Mindy. Yeah, it's just honest. It could smell like the hair care products of a car accident victim 1 hour, then smell like the dirty, pungent grossness of decomposition the next hour. Then it could literally smell like powdered calcium or bone the next hour after that. And that's because an autopsy tech would be literally sawing through bone and powder is wafting through the mask you have on. It is a trip.
It's a trip. Exactly. Autopsies are happening, again, all around. The body we were using for the training is an elderly man respectfully chosen for this work.
Yeah. And the plan that day is basically in 4 segments. Mindy is going to film a subject matter expert in how to fingerprint a body, how to examine the external body from head to toe and document any wounds, how to capture forensic images of the body, examination of bones, obviously my favorite, and fluid draws.
The first 3 went great.
Yeah, great job.
Easy. Fingerprinting, smooth.
Yep.
External examination and photography, dare I say, nailed it.
Nailed it.
Bones, that was your TED Talk moment.
Yeah, I do love a bone moment.
Yeah.
I get to say the word shaft over and over.
Yes. Way too many times.
Bone shaft, people. Bone shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never get tired of picking up a dry skull and shaking it in front of a new death investigator and saying very confidently, "This is a male skull." And inevitably they'll ask, "How can you tell, Dr. Vance?" And I get to say, "Because it's empty."
Ha ha ha. I mean, come on. I'm telling you, humor.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that.
Humor is a much needed
Yeah.
thing in these areas.
Yeah.
So you were practically glowing, if I must say.
Yep.
And I'm over there adjusting lights like she's in her element, folks.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate that. I tried to do a good job. And then, Mindy, then came the fluids.
The grand finale.
The drawing of fluids.
The drawing of fluids.
Enter Dr. Sean Hurst.
You know, somebody walks in with kind of that new boss energy, very calm, polite, probably wondering who the hell I am.
Yeah. So we did start with the femoral artery draw. For those who don't know, that's the artery on the inside of your upper leg. This is routine. There's no drama at this point. Big needle, big syringe, lots of blood, but easy peasy. Our subject matter expert nails that.
Yeah.
And so for him, that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like a pro. Everything's steady. Lighting's good. Sounds crisp.
Mhm. And then comes the urine draw.
Mhm.
And that huge syringe goes straight into the bladder.
Yep.
There's that. That works out well.
You can picture
You
it.
got it filmed. Then the subclavian blood draw, and that's drawing blood from under one of the collarbones. We're all still good. Everything's rolling. Mindy's capturing some great images. The lighting's good. You're focused. We're moving. All is well. Still big syringes, lots of fluid, but you're capturing this shit like a pro.
Yeah. And then next up, cardiac blood draw. It's a little trickier, but I'm in the groove. And then it's vitreous time.
For our dismembers, vitreous fluid means the fluid from within the human eye globe. And yes, we call it a globe. Vitreous is a particularly important fluid to draw for toxicology results in some cases during autopsy.
Yep. The eyeball,
There you
people. Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, it's actually super important for toxicology, very stable, very useful.
Also, very squirm inducing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It is an eye. Depending on your, it is squirm inducing depending on your tolerance for eye stuff.
Yeah.
So, little known fact, Mindy, my very first job when I moved to Portland was as an eye bank technician for the Lions Eye Bank of Oregon.
You can't make this up.
I know.
That's hilarious.
Which means I traveled to hospitals by myself. This was not a two-person job. They trained me to remove whole eye globes from human tissue donors for corneal transplantation. This might explain a lot about me.
It does.
But I never got over removing eyes from people. It was simply horrific for me. I was 23 years old.
It is pretty traumatic.
From Montana, where there's one hospital
right?
in the town I live in.
Yeah.
And I moved to Portland where there's literally
Just scooping
97 hospitals.
Just scooping up.
I might have over-exaggerated. However, it seemed like there were lots of hospitals. And by the way, Mindy, the morgues and hospitals are never on the 4th floor. They're always in the basement.
Always in the basement.
And no one dies between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Never.
I was always out there in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then
I
again,
did that out, dismembers. I
Yeah.
just had to.
it's a little traumatic for her.
Sorry. It was simply horrific.
Horrific.
Anyway, so
So-
eye's not my jam.
Yeah. So eye tolerance, mine's pretty high.
Yeah.
I've seen worse. Fun fact about me, when
Mm.
I was in high school, I might have worked at a slaughterhouse. We can talk about that later.
Oh my God.
And for extra credit in my anatomy physiology class, I brought in a treat for everyone. I brought in a black garbage bag full of cow eyes
Oh my God.
to
You
dissect. Yeah,
popular girl.
I was hugely popular. That got along with everyone. You know I got an A in that class.
Oh,
That was only one of the treats I brought in for
Talk
that
about
class.
saving the bacon of that teacher.
Oh,
that
yeah.
teacher must have loved you.
Loved me.
Oh,
we
God.
can talk about that too because I did
You
lots
made
of things for that
friends.
class.
You made some friends and some enemies that day.
Yes. So there I am, moving in close.
Yep.
I am about a foot away from the descendant's face. The camera is perfect. Focus is sharp. The tech is standing by with, I will say, a big ass syringe with a big ass needle and ready to go.
Yeah, it's a reasonable size needle.
It looked like it could pop a fucking car tire, people. It was big.
You're so dramatic.
I'm observant. There is a difference.
Oh my God.
So we're seconds away from this draw, and suddenly, the first words out of Dr. Hurst after he leans in across the table from me and looks me right in the face, he says, "You know, some people find this procedure very intense. If you feel at all any certain way, do not hesitate to stop and sit down."
He was being thoughtful, apparently.
He was, but I was so confused. I thought, who in the fuck is he talking to? I even stopped and stood up and looked behind me.
You looked so baffled at that point. Like, is he talking to me? You talking to me?
Right? And then it hit me. He was actually talking to me. And I'm not kidding. I just lost it. I started laughing so hard.
Everyone did. It spread kind of like a virus. Oh, no, I mean, no pun intended.
No pun intended. I said,
to think that that you were going to be bothered.
I was going to be bothered after everything I've already done.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm good. This isn't my first time. Remember, he hasn't really ever met me.
Right.
But it is kind of funny that you're just now asking, considering we've already filmed everything else. There's literally a skull open behind me, but the eye poke is where you thought I'd tap out?
I'd tap out and gross out.
Right?
Classic. I mean, the tech turned red, trying not to laugh. I mean, it's like
We were
jetting this needle over this eye globe, right?
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Hurst went from concerned to amused in about, I would say, 2 seconds.
He realized you're okay.
Yeah, that was the moment he did figure that I wasn't just some PR lady from HQ who might faint.
Yeah, no.
No.
You became the camera operator who does not flinch.
Yeah, best title I've ever had, too.
Yeah, for sure.
After that, he was a totally different person with me. He trusted me to move around, asked for angles, and he became part of the work.
Yeah, you became part of the work because you respected the space. You respected where you were at. You respected him. You weren't there for shock value.
No.
You were there to help us teach, help us produce a product that would help us train these death investigators. And there's no one else who could have stood there and done that like a champ. No one at our agency's GHQ, at least, for sure.
Well, exactly. And that's what made it work, I think.
Yeah.
And the footage turned out incredible.
Yeah. The clarity, the detail, you captured what we needed for real learning for death investigators.
I will say this. It fucking took forever to edit.
Oh, no.
Right? You know, my laptop hated me.
Yeah. And you did it during the dark age of 2020 Wi-Fi.
Oh my God. I uploaded an hour of footage overnight and woke up to 8%.
Oh, God. But, you made it work.
Well, we had to.
Mhm.
People needed their certifications. It wasn't optional.
Yeah. You basically saved the training, Mindy. Practical methods and death investigation and morgue techniques lived on in perpetuity on film.
Yep. You're welcome, Oregon. The training you never know existed. You're welcome.
Though. Seriously. That project kept things moving when everything else stopped, especially for the medical examiner's office. We were super lucky to have you there that day. And you're right. The results saved our bacon.
And it was kind of beautiful, honestly. The morgue, turned into a classroom. We took something clinical and made it really accessible.
Yeah, it mattered. And I definitely know the feedback from students showed it.
People from all over the state sent notes saying how helpful it was. And it did make me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
To be part of something big.
Yeah. Even if you said, hey, that eye thing, wow.
Right. Let's put that on a mug.
That eye thing, wow.
That would. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a mug.
I'm not kidding. It still makes me laugh. That moment with Dr. Hurst, him looking at me thinking I might hit the floor. It was just hilarious. But also the timing was perfect. Comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm always there for comedy.
Well, it is particularly funny that he waited literally hours to ask you if you were okay.
Right. I mean, I kind of wish he would have started with that. I think it would have made it a little bit lighter in the room because we were very clinical for a while because, right,
Yeah,
we
you
took it
guys,
very important, like we were doing something very
yeah,
important.
you were kind of circling around each other like, I don't, you didn't know him, he
Yeah.
didn't know you.
Yeah.
He's just glad to have you there, but it's like, I hope this lady doesn't pass out.
Right.
But he does not know Mindy.
No, he did not.
Wait.
He knows me now.
Yeah. And that's the thing about morgue life, right? It's heavy, but it's human too. It's a bunch of humans in there just trying to do a really important job. And you cannot survive it, Mindy, without humor. You really can't.
You can't. The laughter keeps you breathing, honestly.
When the people around you are not.
And when everyone's not.
And from that day on, he knew exactly who you were.
Yeah, I earned my stripes literally with an eyeball.
Yeah. That should be our new tagline.
Could be. Like, I'll add it to the merch list. Could be the
Does someone want that on a
shirt. Let's add it to the merch list. Could be the fumes, could be the caffeine, but I think that might be a wrap dismember.
Yeah, we wanted to tell that story.
I think it's just a funny one.
Yeah.
It really kind of puts some context to how weird we are.
Yeah, the introduction of Mindy to the morgue.
Right?
Mindy to the ME. really.
ME. Yeah, I've been to the morgue lots of times.
Yeah.
So dismembers, we just want to ask you to stay curious, stay weird, and send us some DMs about what you might want to hear more about, whether it's weird cases, morgue mishaps, or forensic oddities that keep you up at night, maybe.
So that's great to throw that out there for our dismembers. We really want to hear from you. We want to know what kind of content you're looking for, and we want to provide it for you if we can.
If we can. I'm not sure we can.
We'll film stuff only within reason, right?
Right.
So speaking about moving into the night, Mindy, do you have a recommendation for a place, I don't know, with good lighting, decent acoustics, a tangy smell, and a little morbid inspiration?
Oh, I know just the spot.
Yeah?
Meet me at the morgue.
Every damn time.
Bye, dismembers.
Bye.